see if this is working. Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. Sorry if you were on when we had the false start there, not sure what happened. It said it couldn't go live using Stream, yet I'm using a camera. Go figure. This system is doing weird things lately. I don't know what it's doing. It's like there's a phantom operating something in the background, but that's okay. It's Tune Up Tuesday. I hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling start to Tune Up Tuesday. So let's get this done. Let's get it out of here before the system does something weird again. Anyway, so it's Tune Up Tuesday. Today we are looking at creativity, how to be more creative, and how can you do that? I go back to, as a child, when we're sitting there and we're playing with all those toys and everything, we are being very creative in our imagination in the way we use the toys. That building block that you get, I should have a building block in front of me. The building block that you get, that could be a house, it could be a shop, it could be a mountain, it could be a car. The imagination runs wild with what that building block could be. When you're putting those pieces of Lego together, you can create whatever you want to create. When you're playing with Play-Doh, oh my gosh, remember opening that can of Play-Doh and that smell that would hit you. It's such a distinctive smell, and it just sort of like brings the happy endorphins out in the brain or something. I don't know, but all I know is that when you pop open that can of Play-Doh, oh my gosh, the creativity that you can make anything with Play-Doh. Like you can do anything with building blocks and Lego. Finger painting, oh my god, getting your fingers in the paints and just having fun on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to look like anything. You just use your imagination. Taking cars, and those cars could go anywhere. They could be any type of car, even if it looked like a clunky truck. It could be a supercharged truck, whatever it was, but it could go anywhere. You could use the other toys to create obstacles and roadways and things. Sandboxes, oh my gosh, I love playing in sandbox, making sandcastles, or you could let the imagination run wild with the sand as well. Do you remember those days? And just getting a pen and paper and just doodling, thinking that you're drawing some fantastic piece of art, and it's just a big doodle. Do you remember those days of creativity and things? And I think back to the times, with corporations and stuff, with their marketing department, when they're doing brainstorming and that, you walk into some marketing departments and there's just kids' toys everywhere, like Play-Doh and lots of paper and paints and different toys, even something as simple as a Barbie doll, and dressing them up or dressing them down, or there's cars, there's building blocks, there's Legos, there's stuff that they can do with their hands and be creative with them, because sometimes when you're being creative with a child's toy, other ideas come out. And I love sitting with my grandsons on the floor, especially when the youngest one was, when the oldest one was young, and we used to sit there and just play. And we had some toys there for him to play with, and there were certain toys that Grandma was allowed to touch, and certain toys that like he had the cars there, and this is so funny. He comes to me in the kitchen one day, and I'm standing there and I'm prepping a snack for him, and he goes, "Grandma, will you play cars with me?" And I said, "Sure." I said, "Just let me finish getting your snack ready, and then we'll go play cars after you've had your snack." He's like, "What's your favorite color, Grandma?" And I go, "Purple." And he stands there with these cars in his hand, and he's like looking at them intently, and goes, "I don't have purple, Grandma." Like, he was disappointed he didn't have purple for Grandma. And so I looked at his things and I said, "Well, blue will be good." "Okay, Grandma, you can have the blue car." But then when we got down, and we had one of those mats that had a road thing on it, and we'd go out and we'd drive along the roads and all of that. But if I touched any of the other vehicles, "No, Grandma, that's not your car. You have the blue one." And he had all the other cars and the fire trucks and the ambulances. They were all his to do with what he wanted. I could only play with the blue car. But then we got to things where he wanted me to build him things. And we had the bricks, not the Lego, but the bigger size Lego. And we could build things with that. And he wanted me to build him garages to put all of his cars in. And then he wanted me to build him a house. And so, we sat there and we built different things out of these blocks and everything else. Sometimes we just bought a big wall and we just smashed the cars into them and see if we could, how fast did the car have to go with us pushing it along, go boom, and let it go before it hit the wall. So the car was only hitting the wall before it would topple over. And it took the fire trucks and the ambulances to do that. So it was just getting in that mind and creating. And yeah, when I'm sitting there on the floor and I'm trying to think, okay, I've got this different, do I make it all blue? Do I make it all green? Do I just make it multicolored? Do I just pick up whatever brick fits and put it in there? And that's basically what I did. But the ideas that came to me during those times was sitting down there on the floor playing with the kids and their building blocks and their cars and the, and the other stuff that we did with them, the Lego and all of that. It was just sort of like, this is so much fun. And the creative ideas just started flowing, like storylines just started coming into my head for my writing. And it was like, oh my gosh, I've got to go write this stuff down. The only problem is I'm supervising a child here. We're playing with my grandson, and I'm thinking about going and writing stuff down. Be in the moment with the grandson. Enjoy the time with the grandson. The ideas can come back later, type of thing. And but it just reminded me that sometimes we have to get down to a child's level with our playtime in order to be creative in our adult time. And so today I want you to go out and find a way to be creative. Find a kid's toy to play with. It could be taking just something as simple as a deck of cards and creating a house of cards. How big can you make it? But I will tell you this, if it's a brand new pack of cards, they will be as slippery as heck, and they are really, really hard to get to stand up and stay up, and they don't take a lot of weight on top. So you have to go very wide on your base and very narrow on the top. Remember doing that one time. It's one of the challenges I had one day last year was for people to go and pull out a pack of cards and so I went to do that. I was like, I can't get these things to stay standing. They are so slippery. So the more the cards are used, the better they are, because the more stuff they have on the cards from the oils of the hands to make them stick and stay and all of that sort of thing. So just remember that one. Make yourself some paper darts. How far can you make the paper darts fly? Going outside and just blowing something as simple as blowing bubbles. They can just release the creativity, but being in the moment and watching the way the light catches the bubbles can also be a creative thing as well. Can get something, but get in there with the kids' toys, the ones that you've got to build something with, like Play-Doh, like building blocks, like Lego, like bricks, sandboxes, being in a sandbox, finger painting. I mean, people go, finger painting, it's so much fun. And because it's water-based, it washes off really easily. I mean, there's nothing like sticking your fingers in and drawing up on the board and stuff. And yeah, I can see some people might have issues with that. I don't care. I mean, me and my nails, these are them. I don't paint them. I used to paint them, but then I thought, I don't want all those chemicals on my nails soaking into my skin, because the regular nail polish would fall off after a day anyway, because my fingernails are so oily. And the only thing was I could get some of the acrylic ones, but I didn't like what they did to my nail beds. So I just stopped using them. Don't do the fingernail polish stuff anymore. And my nails are a lot stronger because of it, because I'm not putting those chemicals on there. And I don't care, they get to this length and they're probably going to get cut down to nothing. So dipping them in paint, getting my hands dirty and all that, I have no issue with that. Putting your hands in the dirt or the sand. And okay, sand I do have an issue with when it's on a beach, but if it's in a container like a sandbox or something, I can sit outside and I can play with the sand. I don't have an issue with that. Being on a beach with a lot of loose sand, I just want the boardwalk to go down to the firmly packed sand area, and I'm happy to walk on the wet sand where it's all firmly packed. The loose sand stuff, I'm not a big fan of, unless I'm playing in the sandbox. And then I can sit outside the sandbox and put my hands in. I like those ones that are on stands. Seen those ones on stands? My grandkids had those ones. So it's a little table, and it's got the sand inside the table there. And you can sit on a chair next to it and just play in the sand, and it's fine. It's fun. Excuse me. But go be creative today. Be like a kid today with toys, with finger paints, with Play-Doh, building blocks, Lego. If you've got kids at home, go raid their toy thing and just sit down on the floor and just play with them. Seriously, go home, get down on the floor with your kids, pull out their toys and just play. And if there's stuff you can build things with, just go build. They're going to destroy it while you're building it anyway. Who cares? You just got to make it better and stronger. Building garages for my grandson. When I was building garages for my grandson out of the building blocks that we had, and they were the building bricks, so different type of Lego. They had the pieces that snapped together. He would always come around, no, Grandma, that's not right. And he'd pull half of it apart, and I'll just carry on building on the other side over there. But my fun came when he went to bed or went and had his nap. I could get down on the floor. I could get all the bricks out, break everything down, build up something fantastic for him, with a roof on it and everything, without him destroying it, have little windows and doors and all of that sort of stuff. And then when he came out, I was like, Grandma, this is the best garage ever. Seeing that look on his face when he get up from his nap and come out and make those comments, it was so much fun. just surprising him in the morning or in the afternoon when he got up from his nap, or in the morning when he woke up in the morning and came out to play. And there was a garage sitting there in the middle of his toy mat waiting for him. Excuse me. So go have fun today. Get down on the floor with your kids and just play with them. Play with their toys. Let the imagination run wild. You'd be surprised if where creativity comes from. But I always find it best comes when you're doing something else that takes your mind off things, like doing jigsaw puzzles is another one that I love to do. But also just creating with blocks, with Play-Doh. I mean, Play-Doh is so much fun. Yes, it gets in your nails and under your nails and all that, and you got to dig it all out. But it's okay. It's all part of it. It's part of the fun. It's part of the fun. I mean, I was walking through Michael's last week for the first time, and I can't remember the last time I was in a Michael's, and just walking through and seeing these kits there where kids could go and create things. And I'm like, okay, they have them in the kids section. Why do they not have these in the adult section? Why are they always in the kids section? The fun stuff. Fun stuff like creating a volcano. I'm like, I want to create a volcano. And I'm sort of like, you can go buy a volcano kit if you want to. And I'm sort of like, yeah, but I live in an RV with a dog. I don't know how well that'll go. But, I've got my bead kit, so I can make my bead bracelets, which I haven't done yet, but I've got my bead kit, and that was the only thing I purchased that day. But it was fun walking around, just letting the creativity roll, just standing there in the middle of the store, taking a deep breath, and opening the eyes, and just walking through it, and trying to look through it through the eyes of, what can I make? If I got this, what can I make with it? Seeing some of the fun new yarns that are out. They've got these big chunky yarns that would make great blankets, scarves, but blankets, definitely blankets. And some of them is those big chunky yarn things, so you can do the arm knitting. And if you haven't seen arm knitting, it's basically your arms are your knitting needles. And I haven't tried it, but I have friends who have done it, and the work is incredible. And they use this really thick yarn. And the yarn is so soft and snuggly, and it's like, oh man, that would make a really great blanket. Or you see one that's just such fun colors. Oh, that would be really cool as a hat. I can make that, and I'm thinking, because a lot of the yarn that I use for chemo blankets and preemie hats. So hats for the real preemies, they've got to be able to fit on the fist of your hand is basically the size that they want. And I look at the fist of my hand and go, that's really tiny. Or an orange. I think that was the other size that we could use. But, making preemie hats, that's all the baby yarns. And then you've got the other yarns to make for fun chemo blankets. But it's not just chemo blankets for adults, chemo blankets for kids. So you see all these bright, vibrant colors. And yes, I could crochet a blanket for that, but do I want it to go to a kid? Why can't it go to an adult? It could go to either. Just give them to the place that has the chemo patients coming in, children and adults. Although if you're going to one specifically for kids, make them bright, bright colors. And make them from a snuggly yarn that they can snuggle into. It's always fun, but I never know who gets my blankets. And there's times that there are blankets that I will make, and they will sit here made, and then all of a sudden one day I will have an idea that I will be walking around and I'll meet somebody, and something inside my head will go, you need to give them this particular blanket. And I will go back to my blanket pile, and I will get my blanket, and I will go back to their place, and I'm knocking the noses. But I made this blanket. I didn't know who I was going to be giving it to, but it suddenly came to me today when we met that you were meant to have this blanket. And the looks on people's faces when you do that is just incredible. So that's it from me for today. Go out, have a super fantastic Sparkling Tune-Up Tuesday. Think with the mind of a child. Go create today with children's toys. See what creative ideas you can open up. And we will catch you guys later today.